Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessToTrader.com weekend update show. Hope everybody is doing well. Guys, take a moment out, support the channel. For you guys who watch on a regular basis, thank you very much again for spending your precious time, 15 minutes of your day with us. I know you have a lot of options. I know there's 3 million people with opinions. The only cool part is my opinion doesn't mean shh. And that's the whole point. We trade on data, we trade on common sense, and we trade what the market gives us instead of what we want or we need. So thank you very much for joining us. Just a quick reminder, guys, we had such a great response to the trial, discount the trial, the end of summer Labor Day trial. We extended it towards the end of this Sunday night. So if you are interested and you get to watch this Saturday or Sunday and you want to join us in the webinar for next week, just take advantage of it. It will end Sunday night. So let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about this. So a lot of news, right? A lot of news. Again, I don't look at this platform as I'm going to sit there, read news for 15 minutes. This is in Financial ESPN with Chris Berman. We're trying to utilize our time to look at the market from a trader's point of view, not investors, but traders' point of view. Yes, is news going to impact what we do? Of course, but we are not sitting here relying on news to put steaks in the freezer. And that's a very, very important part of what we do as professional traders. This is why we stay in this business for such a long time, because we're not guessing, we're not anticipating, we are reacting to data. And if you look at the market, and we started talking about this a couple of days ago, about a potential personality shift. And this is kind of where we talk about it from the trader's point of view. There's definitely a personality shift. You're not going to see it in the scoreboard, right? If you look at the Qs, nice move, man, really nice move on the Qs. This week was definitely led by Apple that I finally closed out my 4-day swing into the 240s. Beautiful move, absolutely beautiful move. Nearly, about $6 on the runner. Google continues to do really, really well. Again, headlines came out this week with Apple and Google, some litigation that was completely benefited both, right? Benefited both sides. Avago came out with really good numbers, although they sold off $20 off their highs. They did add some pretty important kind of notifications for the rest of the AI power generation. Take notice, right? Sit up and take notice. They did add 3 new customers. There's a 4th one, which they're not really revealing at this time. Not sure why, but it really shows you the competition in the space. As you can imagine, what's good for one is going to be bad for another. And you saw AMD had a really, really aggressive move to the downside. NVIDIA got hit as well. So that's kind of what we've been talking about. These stocks prior to Friday did not participate, right? We've been talking about Microsoft now for a while now. It's just not participating. So you can see there's something rotten, right? There's something rotten underneath the hood. But if you look at the scoreboard, you really can't tell. If you trade on a day-to-day basis, especially if you trade the mega cap space, the technology space, you can clearly see it, right? You can clearly see it. We've been talking about this, literally for 2 weeks. Amazon is strong. Everything else is weak. Tesla is strong. Everything else is weak. Apple is strong. Everything else is weak. And one by one, they're starting to spread out to other names. PLTR on Friday. I had a pretty good trade on PLTR on Friday, losing the 34 EMA. Again, these are the former runners, right, guys? These are the former leaders that led this whole revolution. This led this whole rebound from April. So if we are having stocks like NVIDIA, AMD, PLTR, Microsoft, right? These are big, big names. If they're not participating, we started talking about this on Wednesday's video. Is this a time to at least have the conversation to be prepared on both sides? And I always try to maintain a two-sided game plan coming into every single day, because again, I'm not falling in love with the stock, I'm falling in love with the channel. And it doesn't make a difference to me which way the channel plays out, as long as it plays out and there's several ingredients. It gets confirmed, right? A channel for me, a good organic channel, at least a week long. You got monster option flow coming in, a deep out of the money calls with short-term expiration, and you have it on a repeat cycle. So let's, for example, talk about Tesla, right? Let's kick it off with Tesla. So Tesla has been kind of very, very close to busting out of a whole macro channel now for the last month, right? Since August. I think we've been having this conversation. I've been taking a lot of trades on Tesla, and I always trade Tesla a lot, but this is so close now, guys, to busting out of a major, major cycle. If you look at the May highs, we're all the way up to this 267.71. If you look at Friday's activity, and Friday had a big, big, massive move into this daily Bollinger Band, it's very, very close of taking out the whole June highs. If it takes out the whole June highs, then you could potentially see a May high come into place. Now, where this gets really potentially good, again, we don't know if it's going to happen, but again, we are getting prepared for it, is follow the money, right? Follow the options flow. If you guys remember on Wednesday, right, we talked about AEO, right, before the close. AEO, they were just pounding $16 calls, pounding $16 calls, pounding $16 calls, yada, yada, yada. Somebody always knows something. Again, I don't think Tesla is one of those scenarios somebody knows something, but I think this is a scenario that they're saying, well, Tesla has to catch up with the other names that had this big, big run since the magical reversal since April. And this is the notable buying. And this is something that we have to definitely keep an eye on going into next week. We saw a lot of 360, a lot of 365, and some 370 calls. Now, the reason why that's important, because they're betting that the market is going to start running Tesla into the May highs. Again, the May highs are 367.71. So if this whole channel here confirms, and this is kind of where I want to, kind of get aggressive, if we start getting back above the June highs, right now I don't have a position in it, but if we can get back above the June highs, I think this thing has a potential 2-3 leg day to really shatter the May highs and really start getting going. Again, do we know that's going to happen? No. Do we anticipate it's going to happen? No, but the options market is betting that way. We also saw a really big buyer come in for the September 26th. That's a 3-week rental for the $400 calls. Again, can we get this thing above the June highs first before we get the 400? Again, you can't put the cart in front of the horse. A buyer came in for the November 400 calls for $1.9 million. So it's very, very important to kind of really understand which way the institutional money flow is happening. I will definitely be watching Tesla this week for a potential June range break. And if we could get that June range break, I think we spread out and start testing the May high. So it's be very, very important. Amazon had a really, really nice run. And just like Tesla, it's very, very close to busting out of its July highs. Okay, as you can see here, the July highs were all the way up to, literally the last day of July, was roughly around this 236.50s level. As you can see, it got rejected off 236 twice in the last 2 days of this week. Just like Tesla, we're getting some pretty aggressive call buying coming in. You got next week's 240s coming in, 245s coming in, considering it closed at 232. These are pretty aggressive bets. We saw one big buyer come in for the November 250 calls. So again, just like Tesla, you're getting a lot of institutional money flow with high 6-7 figure bets, something definitely to watch. Apple, that again, I closed out my runner on Friday. They are still betting pretty aggressively. The big buyer that came in, we saw a lot of calls coming in for next week for the 245s, some towards the end of the month for the 250s. But the buyer who came in was 1.1 million for the 250 November calls. Again, follow the money. On the downside, right? PLTR. Okay, PLTR, again, high flyer. One of the greatest runs I've seen in a very, very long time in the last couple of years. It's now holding on to the 64-day moving average. Notable buyer came in for the September 19th expiration. He bought 1,000 of the 135 puts. That's 18 points out of the money. So there's something definitely to watch going into next week. After the close, Robinhood added to the S&P 500, as you can see by the spike after the close. And speaking of Elon Musk, two news Two news things that did hit. They got traders' attention going into Friday's session. Number one, the Robo-Taxi app, number one in the App Store. But Elon's potential $1 trillion payoff if Tesla hits all targets. If I'm him, I'm the one that's buying calls out of the money and try to ignite this thing. But anyway, yeah, $1 trillion potential payoff for Mr. Musk if Tesla hits all its financial targets. Friday, you had weaker than expected jobs data, really shook the market for a little bit. But again, at the end of the day, shaking the market and the NASDAQ still being green, right? Is the market really down? And that's the whole point. This market continues to take body blow after body blow after body blow, negative news, negative rotation into flows, and we still wind up with a hop, skip, and a jump away at all-time highs. Very, very impressive. So let me give you guys some ideas definitely to watch for next week. I got some longs, I got some shorts, and after I'm done, I'm going to my daughter's preseason basketball game. Let's talk about XP first. Huh? The hell's XP? Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. If you guys remember, XP had a big, big move in August, and for the last 4 or 5 days is consolidating. All it needs to do is take out the August 28 highs, and this thing could really, really wake up. Again, beautiful digestion of the single day move on August the 28th. This thing looks ready to go. NVIDIA, I will definitely be watching for more downside. It lost the 50-day moving average. 3 days sat there. Just reclaimed back the 64 on the close. But if NVIDIA loses, man, I'm telling you guys, look how much room you have. If NVIDIA loses the 64 at some point next week, this thing could get down to 159, 157. Microsoft, right? Look at Microsoft. It cannot get out of its own way. That's my whole point. That's my whole point of potential shift in personality. Microsoft lost the 64 on the close, or at least closed right on there. I want to watch Microsoft. This thing starts losing Friday's channel at any point next week. I definitely want to short this thing. Again, there's a lot of room down as well. AMD, just like NVIDIA, feeling the effects of the Broadcom news of acquiring new customers. Again, a lot of competition in the AI space. It stopped at the linear regression line. This thing starts losing the linear regression line come next week. This thing could get hit to 145, 147. Look at Bill, right? I don't know what Bill is, but Bill looks really good, right? Bill looks good. Had a big gap up. It kind of looks like the XP chart. Big gap up, distribution above this gap up. All it needs to do is confirm Friday's highs, and this thing could wake up. And obviously, my number one watch every single day, including Sunday, is Tesla. Tesla, again, June highs. Let's see if we can confirm. July highs. Let's see if we can confirm. I would love it, love, and I think I can speak for anybody who trades Tesla. Nothing hits harder than Tesla. When Tesla's a runaway train, it's all gas, no brakes, and that's exactly what we want. Guys, have a great night, everybody. God bless. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see a lot of new faces come Monday, and with God's help, we'll all be there together. Take care, everybody. Have a great, great weekend.